Well, folks, it looks like our neighbors to the north in New Hampshire, the ones who have their heads screwed on better than the morons that are governing Massachusetts at the moment, we ought to give them a new name. We ought to give them a new name. The assholes that are running Beacon Hill, especially Maur Tax and Spend Healey, who's at the forefront of this fucking circus. We ought to call them MGM, morons governing Massachusetts. The difference between the responsibility in New Hampshire versus the bullshit going on here with putting criminals who should not be back on the streets versus where New Hampshire is like taking care of that problem and they're not going to allow criminals to run amok. I criticize the US prison system in the sense of like the drug war and stuff like that. But when it has a victim, make it a fucking crime. Just like violent criminals, anybody that where it's a victim, they should be in prison, pay their debt to society. 100% agree with that. And just like with immigration, I support immigration, but the only people I want to deport, the only people that should be deported are the violent criminals. But guess what? Maura Healey is allowing violent criminals to be allowed on the street. If you live in Massachusetts like me, this could be in your neighborhood. It's getting ridiculous. And my and one of my favorite governors in the country, Kelly to the north, has called this shit out. Once again, she's 100% right. Welcome to another episode of the Massachusetts Report, everybody. I'm your host, Zach, the Celtics guy, bringing you economic leftism and social conservatism all added together because that's what I believe in. And one of the things I'm socially conservative on, when it comes to horrible people, when it comes to violent and dangerous criminals, yeah, they should obviously be in jail and they should be in prison for as long as it happens to be. So, what do we have now with the situation where you have Maura Healey being soft on the actual dangerous criminals? Remember where in Massachusetts it used to not be this way? Well, now because Maura Healey is giving sanctuary to these people, and this is who she's given sanctuary to. No, I'm not saying immigrants are the ones committing crime. That isn't what I'm saying, but that's not to say immigrants don't commit crime, because they do. Yes, at a smaller level, of course, but I'm gonna tell you right now, Maura Healey is allowing this shit to happen because she's using the sanctuary state status so she can look like she's the good one. And instead of protecting communities from dangerous criminals, what does she do? She just allows it to happen. She just thinks that, oh yeah, because you're an immigrant, you commit a crime, our sanctuary state will allow you to just be back on the street. And what do you have? You have our neighbors to the north who have their heads screwed on a hell of a lot better than the morons that are running this fucking state at the moment. This state that used to be a beacon of moderate blue ways and whatnot, with all the moderate Republicans we had over the years, and look at what we have now. Now we have a freaking circus. And the fact that I have to explain this in every fucking video that, oh, I'm not saying anything about immigration, it's just ridiculous. Because this should go without saying, but I'm done explaining that. And, oh, you don't like the fact that I'm giving Kelly credit on these types of things? Too fucking bad. I'm calling it like I see it. Because she's right. And I'm gonna come out here and say it. Hey, New Hampshire, I'm very happy for you that you got Kelly as your governor, but I just, could we have her, please? Because like we really could use someone like that. That's not a complete fucking idiot. Like this clown we have in office. Like, could we have someone with at least some common sense like Kelly does compared to Maur Tax and Spend Healey? Oh yeah, Maur Tax and Spend Healey. Well, not only will she tax you, not only will she spend more of your money, and she has bad math and will waste your money. Not only that, she's wasting your money on this bullshit. That's what she's doing. So here's what Kelly had to say on this one here. So here's what she had to say about this. While Massachusetts continues their soft on crime policies, we're keeping our community safe. Tomorrow I will sign a law to fix our broken bail system and shut the revolving door for violent criminals. Next, we'll ban sanctuary cities in our state. Massachusetts' billion-dollar illegal immigration problem lets violent criminals back on the street. That won't fly in New Hampshire. Imagine that. You got a governor that actually cares about her citizens. I wish we had that in this fucking state. Today we'll shut the revolving door. Oh yeah, I already read that part. Now let's see. Massachusetts letting dangerous criminals back on the street puts everyone in our region at risk. We're doing things differently here. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? And once again, Kelly's 100% accurate. Why is she accurate? Do you see her saying anything about minor things that are going on? Do you see her like all wanting the drug war and everything else like that? No, that's not what she was saying at all. She's talking about the actual criminals that actually have a victim. Like, oh, I don't know, the violent criminals that Maura Healey has given aid and comfort to. That fucking hoe needs to be in prison. That hoe needs to be in fucking prison for allowing this shit to happen. Because actually, the statistics actually do show that in both the area of property crime and violent crime, this state is actually lower than the national average. Just like at one point, we used to be in the middle of the pack when it came to the tax climate and whatnot. But now Maura Healey's terrible policies has sank us down to 41st out of 50 states in terms of the tax climate, the tax competitiveness rate, and all that other stuff. You know, all that type of stuff. So Maura Healey is allowing this to happen. And as a matter of fact, Massachusetts traditionally, when it comes to like I'm talking about like the heinous crimes, armed robbery. This is the state that has a maximum of life in prison for armed robbery, and even unarmed robbery can get you up to life in prison. And that all makes total sense because these are crimes that actually endanger the safety of other human beings. So those types of things, and there are a lot of crimes in the state that have mandatory minimums, but these are ones that are actually heinous. I'm talking about ones that are actually heinous. I'm talking about the ones that deserve prison, okay? So I can come out here all day long saying that, oh yeah, oh, the U.S. imprisons people way too much for this, that, and the other thing. Oh yeah, I come out and I say that all the time. But when it comes to violent criminals, dangerous criminals, repeat offenders, no, I want them locked the fuck up. I want them locked up. That shouldn't even be a left versus right issue. But what is Maura Healey doing? So you see all these laws. So the laws of Massachusetts, Maura Healey's making a mockery out of it. She's making a mockery out of it. She's making a mockery out of all of this stuff, and she's making our communities less safe. And no, that has nothing to do with immigration. That has to do with anybody. Because we've seen this again and again and again and again. You've got this circus that's going on. You've got this circus going on where Maura Healey just thinks that more tax and spend Healey. She wants you to pay more for your taxes. Well, she wants you to pay more for your taxes. Well, she gives illegal immigrants a free ride. That's what she's doing here. That's exactly what she's doing. And these aren't a situation where it's people that are here and whatever like that. No, they're people that are here, but there are violent crimes that are being committed. And Maura Healey is letting this happen. She's allowing this to happen. People that have never should have been back on the street, people that have never should have been in our state to begin with. So that's what Maura Healey's doing. That's what she's allowing to happen. She's allowing this to happen and is wasting billions of your dollars on it. My dollars, your dollars, everyone in the state's dollars. While she votes herself a pay increase, wants you to pay more for candy, wants you to pay more for your cable boxes, wants you to have a tax on prescription medication rather than making Rather than making pharmaceutical companies pay, Maura Healey wants you to pay the bill. She wants you to pay a higher bill. She wants you to pay more for your rent. And then she wants to use Trump to distract away from her own failure. This is the type of thing that got Trump elected in the first place. The thing that got Trump elected in the first place. The only people I've ever said that I want either deported or in prison are people that have committed heinous crimes, and that's all I've ever said. I have never argued against immigrants ever coming to Massachusetts or anywhere else. That has never been my position. That's not my position today. It's never been my position in my entire life. The only thing I'm saying is, if you're in this country and you commit a violent or heinous crime, you should either be in jail, or if you're not a citizen, yeah, you should be deported. That's how it should be. And the number one situation is a sanctuary state is being abused. That's the reason why it is, because the Democrats are abusing it so that way they can own the other side, own the MAGAs, and try to act like, oh, look at us, we care so much about immigrant communities and everything. No, you don't. No, you don't. When there are, yes, I stress a small amount, don't get this twisted, a small amount that are committing heinous crimes, the Democrats look the other way and think that, yeah, they should be back on the street and everything else. Meanwhile, New Hampshire is doing just the complete opposite of that. They're not even allowing this type of bullshit to happen. And then fixing the bail system, that's just allowing violent people to go in. Now, again, I'm against cash bail. I think a bail system should be, the only people that shouldn't get bail or should have a very high bail are like people that are dangerous or pose a grave risk of harm to other people. Like, this is just common sense, okay? Now I'm against things like cash bail and all that stuff. You know, the thing that keeps people in prison, in jail because they can't afford the bail or something. I'm against that. I've always been against that. But you need to have a bail system that at the same time will keep people in. There are situations where there were pedos that were put back on the street because of this. That were immigrants that have committed these crimes. Remember, Maura Healey actually said this. It's unfortunate from time to time these things will happen. She said that about the rape of a 15-year-old girl in a shelter. Maura Healey is a disgusting, despicable human being. And Kelly Ayotte ripped Maura Healey to shreds over that last year. And that was beautiful to see that. Maura Healey doesn't care about you. She doesn't care about the citizens of Massachusetts. She wants you to pay more for your money. She wants you to pay more for your money, more for your bills, more for your taxes. Well, she gives illegal violent criminals a free ride. That's what she wants. And is allowing the sanctuary state status to be abused. It wasn't meant for that. What it was meant for was refugees coming here, escaping things, obviously like U.S. imperialism and shit like that, and civil war and hunger and poverty and other places and stuff like that. But the problem is it's being abused. That's the problem. And this is the reason why you got MAGA that got elected and is doing this type of thing. And I think in other ways that they go too far because they shouldn't be deporting everybody. The only people that should be are the violent criminals. That's all. The violent criminals, the sex offenders, the whatever. No, I want those people in prison for decades. No, I 100% do. And that has never been my position. I've never been against, oh my God, why do I even have to explain this? Why do I even have to explain this? Because this should be common sense. This should be common sense. But some way, somehow I have to explain this because this has been so politicized nowadays. The fact of the matter is, there does have to become a point where immigration has to be controlled. Just like it is in every other country in the entire world. It's controlled in every other country in the entire world. Do you think that the Americans could flood over to Mexico? They've been deporting Americans that have been there illegally. I mean, could you imagine going to Japan and trying to do that? Could you imagine going to Singapore trying to do that? Trying to go over to the DPRK or anywhere for that matter, and trying to do this and just say, oh yeah, just open up. I want a free ride or whatever. No, that's not how it works. That's not how this system works. That's not how the system should work. It's being abused. And that's a reality. And that's a reality. And that's not anti-immigrant to say that. Get the fuck out of here. That's not. And it's also not, there's nothing wrong with saying illegal. There's nothing wrong with that. You would say that about anybody that's here illegal. It doesn't matter if they're white, they're anything. They could be whiter than this. And if they were here illegal, if they were here from the UK and they were here illegally, they would still be illegal. It don't matter. It doesn't matter. It's used. It can be used against anybody who shouldn't have been in this country in the first place. White, anything. It doesn't matter. But that's what Maura Healey believes in. She wants you to pay more for your dollars while she's allowing this to happen. That's what got Kelly Ayotte elected in New Hampshire. That's what got her elected. And it got her elected for a reason. It got her elected for a reason. Why is the state doing this? Why is this happening? This wasn't happening under previous administrations. Even under Deval Patrick, this wasn't even happening. That's why Maura Healey's worse. She is the worst governor in history. She makes me embarrassed to be from Massachusetts because this state is so off track and it's in the wrong direction. It's not even funny. In every imaginable way, every statistic, we are worse off in every imaginable way in this state because of Maura Healey's terrible policies. And her terrible policies have crushed our economy. We've lost 5,350 small businesses. Unemployment has jumped by 20,000. That means an additional 20,000 people are out of work compared to where they were before Maura Healey took office. We're fourth in the nation in foreclosures. We've had only 1.8% economic growth, and our population growth ranks 49th out of 50 states. We're the third most expensive state to do business in, which is also not good for our economy because that's also not good. And our energy costs, because Maura Healey admitted to blocking 2 pipelines, she said it on tape. So that's also not good for jobs and investment here. The 4% surtax, the this, the that, all the other stuff. Because remember, as I've said before, this is poorly handled. And our tax climate is now 41st out of 50 states. None of these statistics are good. Every single statistic is worse off because of Maura Healey. Every single bit of it. Maura Healey should be considered the best job creator for New Hampshire. Do you want to know why? The best job creator for all the other states that people are going to. She's the greatest job creator for New Hampshire, for North Carolina, for Virginia, for Delaware, for Florida, for Ohio, for Indiana, for Tennessee, for Nevada, and all these other different states, for Georgia and elsewhere. You know why? Because that's where they're all going, because they're all fleeing our state because of Maura Healey. We've lost 20,000 jobs. Maura Healey is giving violent criminals sanctuary. And while she's crushing us with record high local taxes that have taken an additional 10% increase in spending compared to what the spending budget was before she took office. She has increased spending by 10%. That's at a rate faster than 37 other states. Only 13 other states raised spending the way she did. She's raised record high local taxes, including a tax on candy, including a tax on cable boxes, and she wants to pay more for your prescription medication rather than the pharmaceutical companies that are paying for it. And that's before she wants, and then she wants something like an additional $5 billion in new spending. And then she wants it, and she talks about a balanced approach and talks about our infrastructure and everything else. Well, she's wasted $1 billion. That's the reality. She's wasted $1 billion on this bullshit. She's wasted $1 million on these terrible policies. And you wonder why. And you wonder why New Hampshire won. No, I like Kelly a lot better than I like Maura. Let me tell you. Maura Healey's an idiot. And just because I can disagree with Kelly on some things, like, like I said, some foreign policy positions, I'll be like, yeah, no, with Kelly on that one. But on other stuff, I think in New Hampshire, she's doing a phenomenal job compared to the circus that we have here. Are you kidding me? Compared to the circus that we have here? No, I would take Kelly over Moron Healey any day of the week. I'd take Kelly's fiscal responsibility over more tax and spend Healey any day of the week, man. Any day of the week. Because your boy is speaking out about this bullshit, and I don't care. because this is the facts. And here's the other thing. If you don't live here, you have no right to say anything about anything. You have no right to complain about what I'm saying if you don't live in Massachusetts and you're not dealing with this shit like we are. The idiots that voted for Maura Healey, the vote blue no matter who, guess what? We're all paying more for it. Like the ones that didn't vote for this. The ones that didn't vote for this bullshit, we're the ones that are paying the price. Well, the super elitist liberals they don't care. They probably have all the money in the world. They don't care. Maura Healey's donors and everything. Maura Healey votes them a pay increase. Our economy only grows by 1.8%. So what does that tell you? It tells you that the whole thing is a joke. The whole entire thing is a joke. Folks, we've got to get serious on this. We have to get serious about this. We have to get Maura Healey out of office, control this one-party Democrat rule that is untransparent, has no checks and balances. Let's not forget blocking an audit because they're so afraid. It's so obvious that this Ron Marino, who should be in fucking prison, him, Andrea Campbell, Maura Healey, Kim Driscoll, they should all be in prison for corruption. That's the thing that they're the most soft on when it comes to crime. Kelly Ayotte's 100% right to say this, that Massachusetts is soft on crime. You know what Massachusetts is the most soft on with Maura Healey in office? Corruption, because she allows corruption to flourish while we pay the price. That's what she's doing. She wants you to pay more for your taxes while corruption is afloat on Beacon Hill with this one-party Democrat rule that is just a monopoly that everyone's tired of, where there's no transparency, no checks and balances, no rules and regulations. They don't control the growth. They don't control where the spending goes. That they just allow the spending to mushroom in size by 10% at a rate faster than more than almost anybody in the country. Maura Healey can't say, oh, she wants to cut taxes when that's exactly when she's done the exact opposite of that. So it's not anything, it's untransparent. Maura Healey is untransparent. She's a clown. She's incompetent. She's a corrupt corporate insider who doesn't give a fuck about me. She doesn't give a fuck about anybody in this state. Hell, she doesn't even care about anybody. She doesn't care about anyone but herself. Herself, her goons, and her donors. She only cares about herself, man. That's all she cares about. And I'll tell you right now, you have to live in New England to know all this stuff that goes on. Because unfortunately, Massachusetts is the butt of all jokes because of this. We look like a freaking circus. Our once moderate blue state that was the beacon of economic growth in New England is pulling in at 1.8 economic growth because Maura Healey has driven all the jobs and investment out. You know, all the ones that decide, they're like, oh, Massachusetts is uninvestable. People say they moved to New Hampshire, that they moved to Virginia or Delaware, they moved to Florida, they moved to Indiana or Ohio. They get things done way quicker than they could ever get under Maura Healey's unpredictable regulatory environment. It's so difficult to maneuver. It's always changing. That's why people say they move to New Hampshire, they move to Delaware or Virginia. They get things done way quicker, or any of the other states that I listed. Those states are doing pretty well. We're not. We're 49th out of 50 states in terms of population growth because she's driven so many people out. And guess what? When the people with the most amount of money leave because of the 4% surtax, and it's already happening, we've had a big wealth exodus, and look what happens. When the people with the most amount of money leave, the only people that are going to be left are the people with the least amount of money that are going to be taxed more. People like me. That's why we need to get serious on this, bring rules and regulations back to Beacon Hill, control this growth, reduce the tax burden, and turn our economy around. That's the exact opposite of what Maura Healey has done. And Kelly has done all of that in New Hampshire. Maura Healey has done the opposite. That's why I support her, and that's why Maura can go fuck herself. Nobody likes distractions more than more tax and spend Healey. She wants you to distract and focus on Trump while we all pay the price for her bullshit. And that's what's going on. And then that's before she wants to protect violent criminals who never should have been back on the streets. Maura Healey, Attorney General at one point, yeah, bullshit. Yeah, a bullshit attorney general, a shitty governor, a shitty person in general who's never been a tax or a hike that they didn't like or attempted to hike. And then Andrew Campbell, who's the attorney general, get the hell out of here. It's ridiculous. Maura Healey has supported terrible policies while she was attorney general and all throughout her entire term, her entire life, throughout her entire political career, whether in Massachusetts or beyond. Anywhere in the world Maura Healey has ever done anything, she's mismanaged everything. Maura Healey destroys everything that she touches. Worst governor ever in history. And it pains me to say this, man, but in Massachusetts, we're not doing well. She's made Massachusetts a worse off Massachusetts in every way. Untransparent, unaffordable, overtaxed, overspent. No rules and regulations, corrupt, no checks and balances, less safe. Yeah, that's Massachusetts under Maura Healey. We're Taxachusetts all over again. We used to not be for a great number of years, but we now are again. It's time that we bring an end to Taxachusetts again and bring an end to the more tax and spend Healey regime. And my fellow Bay Staters, let's do it in 2026. Let's bring about that change. You only bring about that change by firing Maura Healey and her goons and electing something different. The only way we can do it, the only way we can turn things around, and I believe we have greatness ahead, but the only way we can bring about that change and that greatness is if we bring about that change by voting Maura Healey out and electing something different. That's the only way it's going to happen, man. And with that, I want to say thank you all for watching. Again, I know this is probably one of the rare videos I've made in this apartment these days, but luckily I've had the time to do it. So just here chilling out, going to go for a walk, have a couple other things I'm going to go do. So thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this. And again, watch the video before you comment and you try to twist my words. Just saying, just watch the video and don't twist my words because it's just getting to be ridiculous. But to everyone else, thank you all for watching. I'm sure everybody else understands, at least the vast majority of people understand where I'm coming from and understand that I've never said anything bad about immigrants. I said we need to be a nation of immigrants like we always have been. We should be, and that's what we should be. But we should also be a nation of laws. We can be both. And we should do both sides of the equation, and that's what I advocate for. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoy. See you all next time with my next video coming out soon. Look out for that, and I'll be back with more streams Monday and other stuff in the works. Take care of yourselves and all each other. See you guys next time. Once again, Kelly's 100% right. I just wish New Hampshire could give Kelly to us. But I wouldn't give you Maura Healey because I wouldn't wish Maura Healey on any state. Except maybe California and New York and New Jersey. Maybe the other three worst states in the country that are ugly in terms of restricting economic freedom, but that are just ugly and overtaxed and overregulated, that type of thing. You can't be overregulated, but you should also not have no regulations either. It all has to be balanced. A balanced approach to everything, everybody. That's what I advocate for. Your boy Zach, the Celtics guy, will always be here to do it and will always speak his mind. See you all next time, everybody. Keep fighting and keep on rocking. Have a good one, everybody. Signing off for now and see you all in the next one. Have a good one, everybody. So long. And Maura Healey, fuck you. See you next time, everybody. So long.